Hey, as you can tell by my hat, not only am I a fan of Son Goku, I love myself some Dragon Ball Z. I'm a fan of everything Dragon Ball Z. I love the Picamos, the Vegetas, the Yamchas. I love the Yamchas. And I love Dragon Ball Z Budokai too. All right, I did the intro. I'm done. I don't have to do this shit anymore. Let's get to the video. Okay. Please excuse the cringe that came with that intro. That was my first time doing it. I had to do something. We'll get better at this as time goes on. I promise. Dragon Ball Z Budokai 2 was a game that I played a lot as a kid. I first remember playing it at the age of 6 with my brother, and I literally cannot tell you the amount of I need more light up here. I literally cannot tell you the amount of times that we have replayed the story mode, replayed the world tournament, replayed Babidi Spaceship, blah, 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 blah. All that stuff. It's one of my favorite games of all time, and I'm here to explain to you in 5 key points. These will be the 5 key points whenever I explain these video game reviews. For this type of video game, one of these key points will change depending on what it is. Like, you cannot review this game and Mario Kart the same way. Like, you can't review Tetris and GTA the same way. You just can't do it. This game will be reviewed on the story, the music, the presentation, the multiplayer / game modes, all the content, you know, like that. And fifth and most importantly, the game controls. Because what's playing a video game that you like if you can't fucking control the game? So, let's get into it. So, first and foremost, we will talk about the story in Dragon Ball Z Budokai 2. The story is basically Dragon Ball Z. It's missing a lot here and there, missing a whole lot of major details, but it's basically a very, very sped up version of the Dragon Ball Z story. Level 1, you're Goku, and in this game mode, you get these cool little board game pieces, and I'll explain a lot more when the presentation comes around. I'm just explaining the story right now. But you're Goku, and in the first level, you face Raditz and Nappa. Your second level, you get your Frieza in the snow level. The third level, you battle Frieza on Namek, so on and so forth. The game goes on, you face Boo, and Boo brings Cell and Frieza back to life a shit ton of times, by the way. Like, oh my god, it kinda gets annoying how many times he does it. And then you do the things. Majin Buu, Super Buu, and then Kid Buu. Then the game is over. The story is basically, like I said, Dragon Ball Z sped up, missing a lot of details. Do I hate it? No. Do I wish it was longer? Kinda. The kid in me thought it was enough, but now looking back at it, as I'm 21 years old, I can appreciate the story. Would I like it to be longer? Not at all. Would I like it to be shorter? Not in the slightest. I think it's a perfect length for a story-wise, that is. Story-wise, I think it's great. You face all of your major villains from the show. You face the Saiyans, you face Frieza, you face Cell and the androids. Well, not literally all of you. You don't get Android 19. You just don't get 19. And in the Ginyu Force, you only get Ginyu and Raccoon, because if you played the early DBZ games, you didn't get the other menus of the Ginyu Force. You didn't get them, so that's that. So the story is basically just sped up DBZ. If you want more details, here's what you gotta do. You gotta beat the level. And you gotta collect the Dragon Balls while you do it, because if you don't collect the Dragon Balls, you don't get a wish at the end of the main story. Well, it's basically just one big story. But you don't get your wish if you don't get those Dragon Balls, which is why in every single level, you have to get the Dragon Radar. The Dragon Radar. So you can get those Dragon Balls, and then at the end, you get a wish. You get this thing called Breakthrough, where you can get every ability for a fighter. You can just get a certain ability for a fighter. Hell, you could get a fucking Bulma costume if you want to waste your wish on looking at Bulma instead of just going online looking at porn like a sensible young lad. But I'm not here to control you. I'm just here to tell you what I think about this video game. So that's basically the story of Dragon Ball Z Budokai 2. A quicker rehash of the main Dragon Ball Z story, with some things broken apart here and there, obviously, to make the story more fun. Like I said, Boo brings Cell and Frieza back to life a shit ton of times, and you're in the hyperbolic time chamber fighting Cell and Frieza, and sometimes in the story mode, Boo absorbs Cell and Frieza, and you get to fight them, and it's just great. The story itself, I'd give it about, it's just a rehash of my favorite anime of all time. It gets a 10 out of 10. There's nothing I can really say bad about it. That's the end of my opinion. Now it's time for a quick 30-second review or less from my good friend, Mr. Jair Kelly, man. Jair, take it away, man. Isn't he just a delightful young lad? Mr. Kelly, you're a good man. Next up, we have the music. Easily one of the most memorable soundtracks I have ever heard in my life from my childhood. The only video game, in my opinion, from my childhood that stands above this one is the original Budokai and the Simpsons Hit and Run. I don't even have to talk much for this passage. Just listen to some of this music is so catchy. Just listen to this music and then we'll just go on to the third out of the 5 points. Because you just gotta give yourself an eargasm. You just gotta surround yourself with the amazing music. So, Wait, before we do that, Mr. Kellymon, what do you think of the music? I promise y'all, as soon as this review is over, you'll never see me in this hat again. So next up, we have the presentation. Let me just say the presentation for this game is absolutely marvelous. People should write a Bible about this because Dragon Ball Z games have a history of outstanding video game intros, except for Dragon Ball Xenoverse series. But the intro in this game is fantastic. It gets you from the start with the awesome guitar, and then you see Goku, bam, banana, regular Goku, Super Saiyan Goku, bam, banana, and then Super Saiyan 3 Goku. This ain't the beat of the theme, but you get it? They get you with a really cool intro. Like I said, all Dragon Ball Z intros look amazing. It's very hard to mess up a Dragon Ball Z video game intro. If you try, all you gotta do is try. They're not hard to make in Dragon Ball Z. Just throw in some rock and kick-ass music and have Goku punch the shit out of a golden Frieza and you're done right there. So the intro itself is fantastic. Then you get to the main menu. Wait, backtrack. Can we just talk about the cover for a quick second while we're sitting here talking about presentation? Look at this thing, like that's amazing. If that does not get your attention, you're a basic bitch. That's all I gotta say. Then you get to the main menu where you see Bulma flying around in her, I don't know what that's called. I don't know whether to call that an aircraft or a ship. But you see Bulma flying around in the ship. And depending on what you choose, Bulma will do a flight pattern. So if you do a story mode, she'll do a little loop-de-loop and pull back to your left. Or if you go to training, she'll just beeline it for Kami's lookout. I'm guessing she's going to the lookout because that's where the time chamber is. I don't know. But yeah, it's just a nice pattern. She does a literal loop in one of them. I can't figure out which one it is because I can't think about it at the top of my head and I don't feel enough, like, I don't feel like generating enough gears in my brain to get those thinking powers going, so yeah. When you get to the character select, it's all very neatly organized. I really do appreciate how neatly organized it is. Because in some of the older Dragon Ball Z games, like the Ultimate Tenkaichi series, sometimes, I'm not gonna lie to you, I was thinking to myself, I'm a little lost right now. Like when I got to Grandpa Gohan and the Shinrons, I would go, whoa, I'm a little lost. I don't know what to do. Place selection, neat and organized. Those little numbers at the bottom of the training, I don't really care much for them. But your health bars, oh, those are always, I don't know what it is about seeing those health bars. They're just so pleasing to me. Like they just, a special gear in my brain and in my nerve. Like it just hits different. Something about that just hits different. I don't know what it is, but just love it so much. Now, to the best part of the game that I was very excited to talk about from the beginning, the story mode presentation. You are basically in this board game setting. You get one move unless you pull up a little onion shit thing and you get an extra turn. But you're basically Goku, and Goku gets the luxury of having legs. So you can see him do his little Goku run. But if you're a side character like Piccolo, Vegeta, Goten, Trunks, you get the memo. The people who aren't consistently going Super Saiyan, unless you're Vegeta, Gohan, or Trunks, you're a little spring thing. And you make this really addictive noise. And it's so addictive. The way it's structured and the way it's laid out, I genuinely do appreciate what they did. I don't know how many games have done like a board game presentation when it comes to the story mode and making their game like this. All I know is that DragonBall Z Budokai 2 was the first one that I experienced, so I can really appreciate that. I just like the way the boards look. I almost overlooked, you can dig around by hitting square. I'm on the PS2, by the way. You can dig around by hitting square to find items. You can go to Dende, because Dende's the healer. He's the white mage, and nobody fucks with the white mage. And you can get an extra life, because you only get a certain amount of lives in story mode. If you lose a fight, you lose a life. That's just how it goes. And when you're out of lives, well, I don't really know what happens. I've never lost all my lives before in story mode. I should probably lose in story mode real quick to see what happens. Okay, not doing that again. There goes my perfect record. And Mr. Popo's flying carpet, like I said, teleports you. Some enemies can teleport, like when you face Cell into story mode, he teleports all around level 4. It doesn't matter. So I purposely keep someone in the beginning of the level just to get the Cell, just in case he runs away. It's typically Piccolo. Piccolo's cool. Alrighty, fourth category. And when it gets to the fourth category in these future video game review videos, there are gonna be 2 separate categories. For a video game like this, we're gonna focus on multiplayer content. And let's say for a game such as GTA, we are going to GTA before online. We are going to focus on that's a bad example. Spider-Man. We are going to focus on longevity. So if we were focusing on a single player game, we'd focus on longevity. But if we're focusing on a game like this, we're focusing on the multiplayer content. So we will focus on the multiplayer content. So there's tons of multiplayer content on this game. I mean, it all depends on how badly you want to mash that square, triangle, X, and circle button to get your job done. You get the World Martial Arts Tournament per usual. You can go up to 8 friends. I think that's pretty cool, even though the PS2 slot only holds 4. I don't know how that works either. You can just do your regular old versus duel if you don't want to do that. FYI, me and Linnaeus did that all the time. I always got him with the warp Kamehameha. He doesn't know how I do it to this day. Somehow, someway, I always hit him with the warp Kamehameha. And he will never not see it coming. And he still can't dodge it. He always expects it, and he can never dodge it. It's great. Then you get Bobbity's spaceship, if you wish for it with the Dragon Balls, that is. I don't know how you unlock that. I probably should have researched that. I'm pretty positive you get it with the Dragon Balls, but correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section below. But you get Bobby's spaceship and you get these cool little mini games. Our favorite mini game as a kid, me and Linnaeus, the one where you just say home run and hit me as hard as you can, see how far I go flying. The more you hit someone, the more damage they take. So when you do an attack that's intended to go far, they go far. And the goal is to the goal is to ultimately knock them out of the ring of the World Martial Arts Tournament. You get infinite ki, so you don't have to worry about running out of ki. Another game mode is a ki blast reflector that you can do on your own or with the person. You just basically shoot a ki blast and you see how many reflections back you get. You can't swat it away because that doesn't count. You have to get a reflection with your opponent, and I think that's really cool. So then there's another game mode where you try to beat as many opponents as you can. That's probably the hardest one. But there's tons of fun to be had with this game on your friends if y'all are just looking to mess around for about an hour and kill some time before you have to go to church or something, or just do something else with your life. Perfect game for multiplayer content. It's not hard. I mean, the combos are a little, to a new player, they might not get it right away, but after maybe about a weekend of playing, I think they'll get the combos down, and I think it's a great multiplayer content. Hey, it's me a few days later. I totally forgot to talk about the game controls in my game review, so I'm just gonna run by them very, very quickly. They're nice, they work. They work. That's all I gotta say. The overall game itself, I'd say it's a pretty good game. I'd give it about an 8 out of 10. I can't give any game a 10 out of 10, except for one game in particular that I will get onto sooner or later in these video game reviews. And that's my opinion of the game. You all heard it, you all saw it. 8 out of 10, I explained why.